There have been a lot of lawsuits in the recent past over DMCA violations for music, images, and other resources. How would you like to access hundreds of thousands of free images and resources for all kinds of uses? Stuff you can use without worrying about getting sued. By the end of this video, you'll have a nice list of bookmarks to sites that'll give you unfettered access to not only images, but resources like fonts, brushes, and PSD files for programs like Photoshop, motion backgrounds and templates for After Effects, Premiere Pro, or programs like those, videos, copyright-free music, sound effects. I'd like to welcome you to the Professional Amateur series on artistic and creative endeavors, where we put our extensive skills and creativity to use to help you develop your skills and get to the next level. We've been an art and creative community since 2006 with digital and 3D artists, writers, musicians, and lots more. We design websites, help people with branding and logos, share tutorials on everything from graphics to streaming, and everything in between. If you stay to the end of this video, you're going to get quite a bit more than 10 great websites. We're going to give you bonuses throughout the video, bringing the grand total resources to more than double that. So, time to go. Number 1 today. Unsplash. Our top 3 are all going to be very similar. They're basically freely usable images, websites that have all kinds of different genres you can pick from. I would be very careful, even though these are supposed to be freely usable, some of them do have Creative Commons licenses, and you can read more about whatever their licenses are, whether you need to give credit to the particular photographer, that sort of thing. They'll tell you, which leads me straight into site 2. Site 2 is Pexels. Now, Pexels is very similar to Unsplash. They have lots of different stuff, but they actually have a bonus, and that is Pexels Videos, which is freely usable video loops of all different types. You can preview them just by putting your mouse over them. But as you can see in their header, they have all kinds of interesting footage. Some of it's extremely high definition. The other thing about Pexels that I really love is they also have a Photoshop plugin where you can have, you log into it and you're inside Photoshop, and you can actually do things like, I'm going to search for fighter jet. And this fighter jet comes up, and if I click on it, it loads in Photoshop, and I can now manipulate it and use it like any other image that I've created or gotten from anywhere else on the internet. So that's a really awesome use for Pexels. You don't have to use the website. You can use their actual search plugin inside Photoshop. So it's a really useful website. And of course, now you have videos as well. So Pexels is one of my favorites, definitely. Number 3 is Freepik, pretty well-known site. Freepik has the exception to the rule where they don't just have the great photos and stock photos and images, but they also have vectors and PSDs. PSDs are project files for Photoshop, which also work in other programs like Affinity and so on. But you've got a pre-made file with a certain thing on it. The PSD would allow you to have that, but you can change like what's on these images, what's on these screens. So very useful website also for the same reasons. Now, when we get into 4 is really 3 websites. They're all kind of related to each other. And I want to show you the first one is called Vecteezy, which is free vectors that you can use for all sorts of different stuff. And you'll notice that everything that's free says so right in the top corner. Some of the items that you'll see on some of these sites will say nothing, and some of them will say premium. It's up to you to find out which is which. Don't be surprised that sometimes you click on things and you find out that what you clicked on was actually an ad for, stock photos or some website other than this. Now, the sister websites to VectEasy, Free Vectors, are BrushEasy, where you can get free Photoshop brushes like, spray paint and watercolor splatters and things like that. But they also have a video site called VidEasy, and VidEasy has not just cool backgrounds, but they also have After Effects templates and what are called motion graphics templates that work in both After Effects and Premiere Pro. So all of these websites are really, really useful. All three of these are related to each other: BrushEasy, VectEasy, and VidEasy. They're all sister websites. If you click right on one of these headings, you go to the other alternative sites. So it's all basically one site with three different purposes. So I really like those sites. So our fifth website today is a place called TinEye. Now, TinEye is what's called a reverse image lookup search engine. And just to give you an idea of how it works, I'm going to pick up and drop the fighter jet image that we were using in Photoshop a minute ago. It does a quick search, and it tells you that in a search of 46 billion pages, it found 1,377 results of where this image is being used online. So if you see an image used online, obviously that doesn't necessarily mean that it is copyright free, royalty free, that you have a license to use it. However, if you find it on 138 pages, it's probably okay. And you could always try and track down the actual person who created the image and get permission. So TinEye is useful for all sorts of things, but it's basically a reverse image lookup. So useful. Number 6 today is a site called CleanPNG. CleanPNG is PNGs are portable network graphics. They're useful in all kinds of programs. Of course, I use them in Photoshop. When you're looking at a PNG, basically what you're looking at is, you'll notice all of these have this checkerboard behind them. There's vectors and photographs and images and all sorts of things here. To give you an idea of how this works, when you click on an image and it takes you to the page of that image, what you're going to see is images on that checkerboard pattern. When you actually download it, there's no checkerboard pattern. That's just telling you that that entire area is transparent. So if you actually save that image and use it, say on Facebook, anywhere that you see checkerboards, you're not gonna see anything at all. So if I were to use this guy right here on, say, Discord, which has a dark background, all you're gonna see is the smiley with the mask. You're not gonna see any of the checkerboards. And CleanPNG has just all sorts of files of all different types. You can do a search and come up with anything you're looking for, and everything is already pre-cut out. So all of the images are already on transparent backgrounds. You don't have to cut them out. None of that hard work. It's already been done for you. So website number 7. It's called Wild Textures, and I think this is a really useful site. You find all these useful textures of all different types, but what's really sets this pattern texture site apart from most of the others is, let's say you click on one of these, what it'll do is it'll show you real world examples of how this has been used. It's here in the header, it's on various screens, used as wallpaper on a shirt, on objects of different types. And you can download this particular texture pattern in Portable Network Graphics, Adobe Illustrator, Vector Style, PDF, EPS, which is also a scalable vector, SVG, which is also a scalable vector. So you can get whatever patterns or whatever textures you see on this website and use them in all these various ways, and look how great they look on all the different things. And then one thing about the website that I just love is the fact that they show you all these different uses, so you already know before you use them they can be used in all these different ways. So website is it's a page on GitHub. It's called the Awesome Images Gallery. Now this is just somebody on GitHub who has basically made a list. There's quite a few contributors, 13 to be exact, but it's a list of all kinds of stock images where you can find stuff to use. And they do tell you that most of these are public domain. Most of them don't have copyright restrictions, or they're free of licenses. A lot of these are updated daily. You'll notice that Unsplash is on this list. So a lot of the really great stuff to be found here. One of the highlights, for example, is SpaceX. You can get space-related public domain pictures from SpaceX here. But Awesome Images is pretty much updated all the time with websites that you can use to find all kinds of images and resources. Alrighty, folks, we're on to number 9. Number 9 tonight is Pixel Buddha. Pixel Buddha is like a resource for professional artists, but I mean, anybody can really use it. It started off as free and premium. Now it's like free, premium, plus. They've got different plans. You'll notice right on the front page that they have some that have price tags and some that don't. If you go up to downloads up here, you'll notice that there are all sorts of different places you can go, like Photoshop Actions and templates and fonts and all sorts of stuff. And the same thing can be found under premium. Pretty good website. They have all sorts of different stuff. There may be even a couple of tutorials mixed in here to help you figure out how to do various effects and things like that. Number 10 today is pretty interesting. It's a company called Corewright Design has come up with the logo inspiration generator. And basically, this isn't really a logo inspiration site so much as a link site. So you specify, I'd really like inspiration to come up with a vintage style logo, and it will give you links to really great websites that have logo designs in that style that will help you to kind of narrow down the type of look you're going for. If you want something that's only in particular colors or multicolored, there are links for each of those that kind of give you that inspiration. They have miscellaneous as well. So like if you want a logo that looks like it's made out of origami or has a hidden meaning or any of that stuff, that's a pretty interesting website. It comes up with some great ideas for logo inspiration. All right, so now we're on to our bonus, and we have several bonuses for you today. One of them is Raw Pixel. Raw Pixel is very similar to the first couple of websites that I talked about in this video, but in this particular case, they have a public domain section, which you can see has a lot of artwork and vintage illustrations and things like that, but it also has a premium and a free section. And there are all kinds of things in here, all kinds of different styles, very much worth checking out. Another bonus today is going to be PX Here. PX Here, I would assume that's short for Pixel Here. They have everything here is free of copyright under Creative Commons Zero license, so you can do whatever you want with this stuff. I mean, pretty much anything. So pretty awesome little thing. You'll notice that the Awesome Images gallery on GitHub uses this image as their banner image. So just to show you how you can use it. Another one of our bonuses today is royalty-free SVGs and other vector illustrations from publicdomainvectors.org. Here you can specify how many you want to see on a search, what type of file you're looking for, whether you want it sorted by date or whatever, and you can specify what you're searching for, and it will show you 360 results of those types. Now, you'll notice a lot of these vectors are what we call the flat graphic style, which is fine. But the point is, you can use these as part of your logo, as part of your illustration, and your web banners. Well, it doesn't matter. Okay, another one of the free resources today is actually the Library of Congress. Yes, loc.gov. They have such a huge history going back for so many years. Of course, part of their history is going to be just like museums and stuff, all of the different publications and illustrations and books and everything that's come out since their inception. Well, everything in this particular group is free to use and reuse because it's all been found to have either no licenses, no known copyrights, or has been cleared of copyrights by the owners. It's in the public domain. It can be used for anything. So you could find all kinds of old posters and photographs and just all kinds of historical stuff here. Very similarly to this is a place called the Biodiversity Heritage Library. This is their Flickr account, and here you can find animals, plants, insects. Most of these are going to be hand-drawn vintage illustrations. So imagine if you had a really great idea for a t-shirt, really funny, and you needed like a really serious drawing of a bird. So really great website, has a lot of really cool stuff. I've seen some people use these on t-shirts and other things, but that actually leads to a question I have for you, which is, how would you use resources like the ones that I've shown you today? Um, would you make t-shirts with them? Would you make social media posts? Would you use them for photo manipulation and posters and things like that? Tell me in the comments what you think about that. Maybe you'll come up with some ideas I haven't even thought of for a lot of these graphics and things. And also, be sure to visit the ACE website at acecreated.com. We're still a pretty small YouTube presence, so we're going to ask you to like, subscribe, comment, visit our website, all that stuff, because engagement and interaction is appreciated by us more than you possibly know. If you have any questions, you want tutorials on any software, you want to share an idea for any kind of top 10 video like this or anything else that you'd like to see, just let us know. We're going to read all comments. And seriously, thank you for watching.